Yeah, because everybody's just going to be hearing their own thoughts. Everybody's just going to be listening to their own thoughts about what I say or what I'm doing. So I could just get away with anything. Because nobody would even notice what I was doing. Mm-hmm. That's deep, man. Okay, there's a question I want to get you to ask yourself right now. I want you to ask your happiness to show you how to get to it. I'd like you to ask your happiness. What would allow you to experience happiness? Ask it to show you how to get to it. Ask your happiness how it wants to get to you. I swear so much love in my life right now that I'm kind of tripping. It's one thing to read this stuff in the book, it's another thing to see it happening all around you in your life. It's a whole different ball game. And I'm so profoundly grateful, and a part of me is so afraid. You know, the part of me gets afraid of losing it, or doing something that would allow it to. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Like, you know, feeling really, really good, really, really happy, and then wondering if something's going to happen to change that. And the Course in Miracles, I noticed that when I studied it, what I experienced is not the happiness or the joy or any of that ending, but what I find myself experiencing is that it expands and it extends and it never stops. Sometimes I take a break from my happiness. Which is so different from what it used to be. It used to be a bunch, you know, just a bunch of challenges and going through stuff, and then every now and then I'd have a good time. Now, the happiness and the joy opportunities are always there, but I'm the one who would do something stupid to lose it, or to make myself think I've lost it. But it's always there. And as soon as I come back to sanity, which is merely me wanting to know my happiness again, then it's there waiting for me. So I don't feel so guilty about my detour. Because it wasn't like anybody else wasn't having a good time while I was having the bad time that I was giving myself. So I want to ask you to, no matter what I'm going through, even if it's something very challenging, very sad, that I'm going to go ahead and let myself feel. Because I don't believe in not feeling all my feelings, or that there's anything wrong with any of my feelings. I want to request something of you all. I want to ask you to have as much fun as you possibly can, and enjoy yourself as much as you can, and be as happy as you can be. Don't join me in my suffering, because that's not helping me. What I need for you to do is to give me a witness to what I could really feel like when I'm unhappy if I would change my mind. Would y'all do that for me?
Yes.
Yes. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, I'll repeat it again. If I'm depressed, angry, upset, or anything else that I'm going through, I want you to give yourself as much peace and joy as you possibly can in my presence or out of my presence, so that I can be reminded of how I could feel if I wanted to. Don't join me in my suffering. If I say, oh, I think I'm broke right now, don't go, yeah, I know what you mean. I feel like I'm broke too, and I think that's a horrible thing. Isn't that pitiful that we broke? Oh, woe is us. I don't need that. What I need is for you to remind me, not just to correcting me verbally, but just remember that I'm an abundant child of the universe. I'm an abundant child of God. There's nothing lacking in my life at all. And you do that not by what you say to me, but by your peace and joy. And I will try to do that for you. So I like to read something to you, and it's sort of like it helps us get centered. So if you don't mind, close your eyes and kind of like forget about the exterior environment for a minute, and I'm going to say something that came to me that's called the divine plan. And I repeat this to myself every day, but when you hear me say this, the way I wrote it, the I that I'm talking about can be you, if you want it to be. This is what I wrote. I am now tuning into and experiencing the probable reality where I have peacefully released everything and everybody that are no longer part of the divine plan of my life, and everything and everybody that are no longer part of the divine plan of my life have peacefully released me. I am now tuning into and experiencing the reality where I have let go and let God unfold the divine plan of my life quickly and in peace, where I am now attuned to the divine plan of my life, where I have and am cooperating with the divine plan of my life, where the Holy Spirit in me has and is manifesting the divine plan of my life quickly and in peace. I am now tuning into and experiencing the reality where I have and am now attracting everything and everybody that are part of the divine plan of my life with ease and happiness, where everything and everybody that are now part of the divine plan of my life have been and are being attracted to me in peace and prosperity. I am now tuning into and experiencing the reality where I have correct perception of everything and everyone, including myself, in total and complete innocence, where I have and am totally forgiving everyone and everything, including myself and God, where I have totally released all of the past except the loving thoughts and feelings. I am now tuning into and experiencing the reality where I, Earl Purdy, have recognized and am recognizing and accepting and following the divine plan as it is revealed to me step by step in perfect harmony, where I have and am rejoicing in the divine plan, which is the sublime plan, and which included and presently includes health, wealth, happiness, abundance, and perfect self-expression for me and all concerned right now, and where I see myself as one with all others in the Holy Spirit. I am now tuning into and experiencing the reality where I have accepted the Course in Miracles teachings as true, where I know that I am sustained by the love of God, and I constantly let the Holy Spirit decide for me, and I feel complete peace about the Holy Spirit deciding for me, where I have taught and teach only love, because I know that love is what I am. That's what I use. Okay. Because I've been learning that it's my thoughts, my beliefs, and my consciousness that create my reality. So it became obvious to me that if that's true, if I'm not just giving that lip service and I really believe that's true, then there would be nothing more important than the thoughts and ideas that I accepted as true or asked to be true for me. But I didn't want to limit myself. And so I asked Spirit to show me a way of writing it that wouldn't limit me and leave everything wide open. And most of all, include everyone else, because I've learned through the Course in Miracles that no personal prayer has any power. A prayer that doesn't include the good of everyone is a prayer that doesn't have any power. A prayer that's just for your own individual happiness is a prayer that doesn't have any power, because the universe is not concerned about your personal interest or your personal happiness. The universe is about everybody's interest and everybody's happiness. God isn't pondering how to pay your bills or my bills. But if I was to say, how can I allow my bills to be paid in a way beyond my wildest dreams and for the good of everyone concerned, then I've just included everyone in my prayer, the good of everyone in my prayer, and that prayer has power now. So that's why you all, whether you know it or not, I'm just have to admit that you are being included in prayers for happiness behind your back.
All right.
And I just feel like I need to fess up to y'all back so I can feel good about myself. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So, number one rule in Course in Miracles, if you're here for the first time, is that you're under no pressure to believe anything that I say in this book, from this book. Is that cool? Is that cool? If you're here for the first time?
Yes.
You absolutely don't have time. I'm not trying to get you to believe anything. Convert you, get you, make you part of my court. The black course teacher court. I could care less about trying to be in relationship with someone who's afraid of me. But I want them to be happy. It's only the people that's afraid of you that you're in conflict with, and the people you are afraid of. I loved it when I got to the point in my special relationships that sometimes I could remember to say something like, when there was a conflict or upset, I could remember to say something like, I hope I'm wrong about this, but I felt like this right here happened, and I really don't like the way I feel, and I want another way to look at it, because I don't want to believe that about you. You'd be amazed how that takes away the defensiveness from a person that you're trying to discuss an issue with. But I used to do it just the other way. You doggone low down, you don't do what I want you to do it, and I just can't how to stand you, and why don't you treat me right, and what's wrong with you? And I would expect them to love me and want to spend time with me. I did. I actually expected them to be, for me to be the first person that they wanted to hang out with. And I used to like go, my God, I have had so much unconditional love in my life that I did not recognize. I had people love me through my most insane thoughts and personalities, and they were right there when I was blaming them for everything and taking no responsibility for my experience. And they were staying with me. They stayed there. So I found out that most of the people that I thought I needed to forgive, ended up being people that I needed to be really grateful for what they put up with. So the Holy Spirit asked me to do the most one of the most powerful sections of the course that usually knocks people on their butt when I teach it to them. They start out really awake and everything. By the end of the class, I'm looking at tushes everywhere. I did a butt over the sofa seminar in Atlanta, Georgia one time, and there was a period of the seminar where everybody had to just flip over the sofa with their butt up in the air. And even to the day, I remember that workshop.
Not surprised.
First of all, if you're having a workshop with a group of people who could play enough to put their butt over the sofa while you're talking to them, you know you're getting ready to have a good time. You know that seminar is going to be one you're so glad you're giving. Because it's nothing duller than doing a seminar with people who think they have to conform to the way they were taught to behave. They'll never surprise you at all. You can predict every friggin' thing they're going to do before they do it. Because they got this invisible fence around them that's made up of beliefs that they learn from the world. And I was one of those stallions that jumped right over the fence. But I can also jump back over the fence. So sometimes I jump back in the fence and play like I believe in the corral. And then when I get tired, I jump over the fence and I go run around free. There's a bunch of horses that don't even know that there is a corral.
What are you talking about?
Who you talking about? Who you talking about? I promise you that one thing, that only applies to who it applies to. So this section is called The Laws of Chaos. And I'm telling you, I asked the Holy Spirit to choose the section, and when Spirit chose this section, I went, oh, you got to be kidding. And then on a warm day, okay. So it's on page 489 in the Course in Miracles. I got 3 loaner copies up here that you could look at. This book doesn't say things that are new. The Course in Miracles doesn't say things to me that are really new. But what it does is it says things in ways you probably haven't ever heard it before, so it kind of makes you go, what? And first of all, I'm going to read this paragraph, and those of you who really believe that you understand English are going to find out that you don't. Here we go. The laws of chaos can be brought to light, though never understood. We can bring the laws of chaos to light. In other words, we can bring all the rules that's creating this chaos to light, but you're not going to understand it. I'm going to tell you all the laws that's creating all the problems that you have, that you see in the world, but you're not going to understand it. Because a chaotic law is hardly meaningful, therefore out of reason's sphere. Yet chaotic laws appear to be an obstacle to reason and to